Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ECC Slice the slipstream itself. Vortex roughly an hour away, but it doesn't mean the action stop as well. Change into the commentary booth means there is a final, of course, awaiting here, and this is going to be one heck of a final.
Yeah, you say it, Danny. This final is going to show not only who's going to be the big man in the Vortex probably for next season, but who's going to win the 100 euros for the Champions Division in this season. We've got the Spanish side of two Simps, one Furry versus Yepers, who are, well, pretty much European, encapsulating what the ECC stands for, of course. But yeah, it's going to be definitely a very, very close match. Two Sims, one Furry, yet to lose a series in this entire season. And they've made an entire playoff run, made an entire league play flawless.
Well, you talk about the flawless run. Will it continue? Of course, we'll be moments away from starting off and how the series will be presenting itself. But you said encapsulate ECC as a whole here and the Vortex coming around here. Is the side looking to actually be the side that does the unthinkable, to do what many would dream of happening here? Because I haven't seen many teams do it since the Vortex came around, and, well, aspiration's one thing, reality is another.
I mean, both of these teams are already safe in the Vortex. That's the beauty of the final. It's only basically a money match at this point, but we have on the Yepper side, of course, we have Hodge, who's promoted last season into the Vortex, has played Vortex this season as well. He's a stand-in now for Yeppers, Starscream and Bitson as well, players 2K plus MMR that are definitely very much worthy of playing Vortex. Same with Two Sims One Furrier as well. So I honestly, I'd say the aspiration for these teams can be to go into Boston, and they have a good shot next season in that competition if they take it seriously.
Well, if they take it serious, if the Vortex, will they be in the vacuum? But if one finals awaits, one has literally just begun. Yippers will be playing in the orange and Two Sims, One Furry. And I'm going to be a bit cheeky, even though the match has been a few seconds already starting underway here. Prediction.
It's difficult to predict against the team that's been literally flawless this entire season in Two Sims One Furry, but I'm a bit biased here as Timo takes a first shot towards the net. Two Sims One Furry showing why they're undefeated right now. I'm going to go with Yepers, mainly because I'm biased as Hodge is my coach and a good friend, I would call him. So I'd say it's going to definitely be close, and I predict no matter what happens, Game 7.
Friendship, a field of war, and a goalpost separating both sides twice already there. Minute gone by. And yet again, Hodge is up and around here. I know Faded was looking around here, see what side might just do the unthinkable. But Yappers, one attack, faint. The second, non-existent. The third phase of play from the corner, drops it into the middle, and Hodge runs all the way back as well too. And it's a bit unfortunate here. We haven't seen a goal yet. We've seen a few attacks here, but they've been pretty limp, to be truthfully honest.
Yeah, but at the end, the accuracy just wasn't there for either team, but maybe now Bear2 looking a bit threatening here, taking the 100 boost as well. Two Sims One Furry coming out of the blocks a bit hotter than Yeppers, who have, of course, just beaten Donkey Punch 4-1, so they are a bit more warmed up, possibly, but it's taking a toll, it seems, in the first game as Bear2 carries the ball forward, looking for maybe the pinch with Scream, can't find it. It's not challenged by any players. There's a challenge finally from Bits, and Starscream is up. Lot of space on the backboard as well, and what a goal to start off this grand final.
Needed a goal to start things go on both sides. We're too loose, too uneventful, to be truthfully honest. Finally, one goal to start off here, and Yeppers with an ideal start in this grand finale. You talk about a prize pool worthy for both Vortex, of course, for next season. 2 minutes gone by here already, and Hodge, backline defence required. Both were, unfortunately, not in the right position as Timo passes infield and back on target. And once again, it's Hodge with a massive block in the net.
The Guardian Angel coming through for Yeppers, but it's not clear. This is huge from Starscream, gets it deep into enemy territory. But the Sims One Furry definitely showing that they can compete and that they are here to win. starting a good interception. Now it's slowed a bit down, and thus far it's been characterized by a lot of space in midfield, and Bearchu nearly with the fake of the century. But Hodge could once again deny two Simps, one Furry. 5 saves already on the side of Yepers. They've been pressed into defense for much of this first game.
Back around, pressure. What is pressure without a championship final onto it? It's almost seems silly, but these players will probably be the coolest people in the building right now because they can at least dictate how this match will go. Another clearance from the halfway lane, back around. Should be dropping into the middle comfortably so, and right now that's a lackluster attack and defense by both sides once again. We know a final could be sometimes chaotic. Hodge is the only one on the pitch right now with a calm head.
Yeah, he's the only one not dragged into the chaos. Beautifully placed shot after Bitson's. I'll call it a pass, even though it wasn't directed at Hodge. It wasn't really wanted that way, but they'll take it either way, and 2-goal lead now for Yepers. Hodge told me he plays worse when I cast him usually. I don't see that right now. He seems the only one to have clairvoyance in this utter madness that is the grand final right now. He needs to project that onto his teammates because that's the way to keep your level head. That's how you stay calm, and that's how you can beat the unbeaten, maybe even some would call the unbeatable two Simps, one Furry.
It's a nice highlighting, maybe the Invincibles, but your particular football team with that tagline to your name as the club's history. Unfortunately, that's not looking well for you, but you said one line there, when usually a caster's on, usually have a good feeling. It must be a strange one, knowing it may go terribly wrong for you. Hodge will get his third one in. It's not going terribly wrong today so far.
Timo, just that touch just let him down completely, and then Hodge again just is there, just a nuisance right now for two Simps, one Furry, and they can't find a way around him. But this, of course, is the beauty of the best of 7. They have enough time to rectify that. They have enough time to make the necessary adaptations, because right now they're just getting, I wouldn't say slaughtered, but they're getting dominated by Yepers, and they don't really seem to have any idea on how to break that. They don't seem to have the creativity needed in this grand final on offense.
I'd agree with you. It has been not necessarily slow with the playstyle. It's not been slow in terms of delivery. It's just that ability to pull a defender out. Something a bit more creativity. Hodge here, once again, trying to go for it in defense. You can say admirable as much as you like, but when you're down 3-0, it really doesn't matter at this point here. So the grand finale, at least for our first game here, shouldn't be a surprise through many. Yepers up 1-0.
Yepers trying to deny two Simps, one Furry every bit of momentum that they can. Maybe two Simps, one Furry can go back here. Timo is now with a shot, and they get some of that momentum back. They go on the scoreboard, and it's now 3-1. Of course, irrelevant for game 1, but maybe very relevant for game 2.
I'm inclined to disagree with that statement. I don't see how you can be happy even though that you've just scored in the last few seconds. But we talk about momentum being such a key focal point in the series here. You've just gone into it reasonably comfortable for an entire season worth, and in the grand finales where you have the hiccup, that just seems to be a motion in terms of problem. You can't bottle this or the right play at the right time here, where Yepers, they look like I said ready to win this already.
Yeah, Yepers definitely looking like they're more accustomed to maybe the pressure, more accustomed to money being on the line after a match. Of course, I've talked about earlier how Hodge has already won the Champions Division last season and was promoted into the Vortex that way. So it's definitely, he's definitely no stranger to the pressure. And from judging what we've seen from two Simps, one Furry, that they are definitely not accustomed to that pressure. They needed that first game to just slowly get into the groove. The 1 hour break obviously not doing them any favors right here, but I'm very much convinced that we'll see a different two Simps, one Furry, and in fact I hope we do, because otherwise this series could be very one-sided.
One-sided final. Where have I heard that one before? Many times in ECC. Usually that has been the case. Two Simps, one Furry. You're asking for an improvement. It is a must necessary. You talk about creativity being the issue. How about the basics? Have that been going? At least a reasonable standard for this final.
the basics have been sort of there for Two Simps on Furry, but now we've seen Scream. He has been in this playoff bracket already shown to be a difference maker. He's been fairly quiet in that first game. Two Simps on Furry needs him to step up. He's doing that now with a basic save, gets into the corner to his teammates. That's good. That's good signs. They're looking for each other on defense, but it doesn't matter if Hodge puts that on target. Never mind. Teemo with a save, just jumping across. What an effort.
Fabulous play, fabulous cross right into it. And Hodge and Teemo probably are the two best players on their respective sides as Hodge whips it right-hand side for how much? Unfortunately, not long enough as this one just been loaded into the middle. Teemo, back third man. Have they finally considered on a planted full third rotation? Is that some target? And that is pure filth of a steal. Get this person out of this final. I'm not having it.
Bitson is just putting salt in the wounds of Two Simps on Furry. First, he gets the demo on the goalie, and then he's like, nah. Wait, I'm gonna steal this one. You're not getting the credit. I do. This was my goal for the demo, and I love to see steals, but maybe it's worthless right now as Teemo gets Two Simps on Furry on the board. Quick equalizer after the kickoff, but it still feels like both of their goals have been sort of random and not really well played out.
Some extent, yes, but at least the basics of a kickoff has given a chance to come back. We haven't seen that in game one. That was the illusion of that one goal. You talk about momentum earlier. Can they actually finally show us a bit of grit, a bit of bite into this game here as Starstream runs away here? That one touch really just handed possession far too cheaply. Scream back around, and Teemo, well, he might back away here, seeing that third commit coming through. It's correct. 1-0 touch back up to it, so 90 seconds gone by, 2 goals, 1 apiece.
One apiece, and it looks like a more neutral game than the first one here. Starscream Bitson again on the double commit. It's getting more and more frequent for Yepes here, the double commits. They have to be wary of that one as Barichu has a lot of space. Has the flip reset, can't get it over Bitson though. Chance not yet dealt with. Starscream, good ball into midfield. Scream doesn't have the boost to turn it, so it's Bitson against the backboard, but Hodge can't make her there. Scream gets a clanger off the backboard. But both teams are really finding their groove and finding their rhythm in the midfield rotation, just denying each team, the opposition team, like the long clears that get you out of trouble. We've seen it with Two Simps on Furry, and we've also seen it with Yepes, where you just get crucial touches in the midfield to just keep the ball in the opposition half.
Possession. That was just a moment of a tagline that usually gets thrown around here. Both sides have been struggling at areas of the pitch here when they do have the ball. That shot's been fired at the sort of the halfway line, a bit desperate attempt. No more desperate than Hodges earlier so far here as this ball's just been planted. Good vital block by Teemo. That would have been on target at least half time. Still 1-1 as both sides trying to push each other's buttons here, and Teemo just flying around here. Sadly, he may have to retreat as quickly black here as Blitzen is there, but not going to be receiving the ball. He chases all the way back into the final third. 2 minutes gone by. You talk about this game being better, yes, but is the quality there?
Quality, I mean, it's more like both teams being on a very, very similar level. It's not like Hodge is just carrying Yepes as he was in game one. It's more of a team approach to this game, and that has been definitely favoring Two Simps on Furry, who've been allowed to come back into the series, who not have been having to deal with surprising and overwhelming amounts of pressures. They've been actually able to go out of their own half and actually be a bit more offensive in comparison to game one against Yepes. So I think the quality is there on Two Simps on Furry to come back, but they haven't made it stick yet. There's not been the definitive chance where you'd say, yes, that should have been a goal, that has to be a goal. And equally, Hodge or Bitson or Starscream, they haven't been forced into like any great amount of last-ditch saves jumping across the net. So while the shots are there and the quality is there, I think just the last bit of wanting it, the last bit of grit, the last bit of biting for that lead is just missing from Two Simps on Furry.
The second game has really die down of any pace. We talk about grip, we talk about bite being that sort of focal point as this ball just accidentally spills into the final box, and that one goes in. I must say it was probably undeserved, but at least in terms of the grand finale, it's now going to be 1-1 if the scoreline and the whistle blows here.
But it was great control from Scream as well. You have to give credit where credit is due. The control from that man to delay it as well. Starscream on the ceiling of his own net, really trying to get the squishy save, but the area was so well delayed, and now the demo coming through from Baichu. Timo should have planted that in the goal for the third one, and for the securement of this game he couldn't, and now Yepers are back into offense. But yeah, Scream, just good delay on the flick there for the second goal to just delay Starscream, make the musty save pretty much impossible, and just allowing Timo to have the easy tap-in.
Chasing all the way back here and to hold to that one lead they've just got from the play as Hodge, he flips into it, blitzing back around here. Starscream just has to get a block, be able to do so. So the idea really is just a Hail Mary attempt, boot this downfield. No, they haven't done so, not yet at least. Hodge back around, blocked it goes here. It shall be 1-1 unless there is Yepper's last moments. Sadly not, it seems to be.
The last moments denied by poor communication. You've seen Hodge rotating ball side there, and then Starscream and Bitson being a bit confused as to who should actually carry that offense, who should bring that ball forward. But I must say, a much stronger showing from two Simps, one Furry. They definitely have shown why they have been unbeaten this season thus far, and they've definitely been showing that they can hang with the very best. They can hang with their fellow division winners, obviously Champions Conference 2 winners in Yepers here, that they can hang with them as well. And I think we've got maybe not the most offensive final, but a very enticing tactical final on our hands.
It's one way to certainly describe it. You talk about the sort of the technicality and the sort of the tactics unfolded here. The only issue I have with that statement is there doesn't seem to be a second plan, a sort of something as a backup at least. There's just, if the play doesn't work, everything crumbles. There's no safety net. Is that the right way to go about it? Because this is a grand finale after all. You do not want to be caught in the final third with your 20 boosts or under here and the attack and your third man's pushed far too up. We've seen, unfortunately, too many ifs on those questions and not certainties at the moment.
I think it's going to be coming down to who will make the least mistakes, and both teams are playing in such a way that they're just trying to minimize the possibilities of even making a mistake. See it right here, Bitson just measuring his approach to that 50, trying to get the best pinch possible to the side wall. So it's more or less going to come down to who can force the opponent into a mistake. It's because neither team was going to make a mistake freely at this level, surely not. So it's going to come down to forcing your opponents into the mistake, and neither team here in Game 3 has really done that yet. Of course, the series now equalized 1-1. We've effectively moved into best of 5 territory, so it's getting ever closer.
Who thought at the start of the season, when you had many of games in a round robin format into the playoffs, and you thought, so you're now a best of 5, who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that was going to be the situation? Well, it has become the situation, and the defense you talk about being a technical game, where is it? It wasn't there at all.
Starscream got a little bit greedy for that boost there. I mean, it was clearly his one to challenge, and you could just see by Scream just moving backwards how much time he had, how much confidence he had, and now Yepers are on the back foot here in game number 3, getting demoed as well. Bearchu coming in with their physical play. We haven't seen a lot of it yet, so that may be one component, how to force the mistakes into your opponents. But two Simps and Furry slowly but surely warming up again. Now it's now Hodge looking for Starscream, but the accuracy is just that little bit lacking on the side of Yepers. They can't really connect on the passes right now.
Well, passes a lose, but the back lane needs to be there. Starscream into the corner, blitzing, double commits, and Hodge with no care, no worry as a third man went for that rightly, gets the touch here and gives the team at least the illusion of time here. Hodge back into the back wall, required once again. He has been stellar for Yepers, and the other two, I'm not saying they haven't pulled their weight here in this grand finale, but really has been Hodge's show.
yeah, Hodge just playing not out of his mind. I know how good he can play, but playing definitely very, very good Rocket League right now. But he's getting styled on by Timo, who just finds the crossbar instead of back of the net. Good air dribble from Timo, good effort, but at the end, just again, that little bit of the details are so decisive when it comes to Rocket League, especially at this level. Here again, double commit from Yepes, forcing Starscream into an awkward touch. Looking for the team plays more and more. Two Sims, one Furry, but now Hodge looking for the demo, and Timo can't find it. Starscream can't connect on the shot either to make it any more than, well, just a routine save, really, for Two Sims, one Furry.
Yepers put everything into it. You saw the third player in the form of Blitzen chasing all the way back after the demo attempt not working. A nice layoff. The 1-2 allows Hodge to be activated into it, and Timo, no touch. There's be a shot on target. Blocked it goes here. So maybe the specification by both sides are willing to smarten up here, as they do so quite well enough here. Yepers trailing by that 1 goal though, so they have to play, they have to pressure, and you know what, probably for the best for the neutrals as well to watching.
Yeah, and now we see that pressure with Blitzen again being a nuisance, and it gets bumped down fairly luckily, but then only has eyes for Bertu, just wants to deny him any chance of the save, and Starscream isn't going to miss that one in a million years. A sitter for Yepes for the equalizer now with 100 seconds exactly left on the clock. We are all tied up in game number 3. The aggression being a good use for Yepes, but that pinch would have been mad from Blitzen.
Our defensive clearing rate round, and for the neutrals, they will be certainly enjoying this 1-1 scoreline now. Next mistake will probably be it, as Timo knows that and gets it away. Hodge once again challenging, beaten, and that's the problem by pre-jumping. Any ball to the either side of you slow as well too is agonizing, because you cannot recover in time. Here is this one back in the middle. Surely Timo, his wits at the middle, praying for the ball to get to him at some stage here. Hodge not learning, Blitzen likewise. That 60-second warning on our screens, and right now this ball is just being toyed back and forth here. It just seems to be cat and mouse, and that one could have been an accidental blunder.
And Scream just had opened the book that is named Hodge and just completely outplayed him, outsmarted, just read what Hodge was doing even before he himself knew what he was going to do. Beautiful play by Scream. Doesn't pay off here, but he's slowly warming up. I've talked about him before being a bit of a difference maker for Two Sims, One Furry. He hasn't been in that role yet entirely this game, but he's slowly but surely growing into it, as Hodge now tasked on defense. Loses the ball to Bertu, who has a flick opportunity against Starscream, but Hodge cuts in. Decisive action from the Guardian Angel to deny Two Sims, One Furry another shot at goal, and we might be looking at an overtime here, Danny.
Would be a treat to see Hodge trying to go for the pinch. High risk play, especially under the circumstances, based on how Yepers would normally push up. Thankfully this time around they rest, and so shall the ball. You talk about a Guardian Angel who will provide safety in this OT.
Definitely looking at Hodge and looking at Timo on the side of Two Sims, One Furry, and he's asked here right now, but Blitzen gets it over him. Hodge has the shot. Bertu with the save, and now Scream has an open net, and ahead of him. Can Starscream come back? No, he cannot. That is the danger of the 3-man commit, and Hodge just needed a better shot, or just don't take the shot at all. Take the ball into the corner.
High risk, usually attached to OT for obvious reasons in a grand finale. You just saw why taking the ball to the corner is probably the safer play. It's not necessarily afraid of taking the shot because you know you can't score. You're not trying to be disrespectful to the opposition. You want to keep possession. You want to solidate the rotation. Yepers, they may have thought they had the chance. They obviously did not get it and concede off it here. But you're talking about Two Sims, One Furry getting back into the series. Well, they're now for the first time leading the series, so an improvement all rounds.
Definitely a good improvement here from Two Sims, One Furry, but it still feels to me like Yepers are allowing that to happen. They were so dominant in game 1, and they just completely lost their grip on Two Sims, One Furry. And I'm wondering where it went wrong. Where have they lost that grip? Was it that last second goal in game 1? Because surely that couldn't have that much of an impact for the Yepers side, because it's just one goal at the end of the game. It's not going to do much against you.
I'd agree with that, but there should be like some consolidating factors as well too, where you can see that in OT, yes, it was only 12 seconds. Still, in theory, a close final. Should it be playing on the emotional rides? We will, of course, see as Game 4 goes underway here. Yepers, for the first time, trails the side that many had put themselves in for because of their unbeaten situation, and Blitzen puts it wide. I think you might be right. It has impacted them.
Blitzen, that was open for you. That was yours for the taking, and he misses. Maybe this one he can get on target. No, he cannot. Hodge trying to keep the pressure on Timo. Blitzen short rotating as well. Good cut to keep that pressure on. Maybe we can see finally some pressure, but no, Scream. Decisive from the backboard, jumps in, gets a good 50 versus Hodge as well, allowing Bertu to have an open backboard here. Has he got the double tap? Yes, he does, and Bertu cannot stop scoring. 2 Simps on Furry cannot stop scoring.
Feel a bit of sympathetic here. One beaten, and Hodge with the last second, probably about 2-3 pixels away if we're able to dodge into that one. And once again, Yepers feel themselves trailing. They feel to get that one away, and they might be feeling the second time around in Game 4 as the scoreline could double within an instant here as Hodge. Well, he's not the safe pair of hands that time, but he gets the block around and he pokes at the ball. It's just almost asking the Rock with the stick to move. Sadly, neither did.
The Rock definitely did not budge here. Starscream, good interception, strong and quick to get in the way of that shot. Blitzen, let's just call that an ambitious pre-jump, but that's going to ruin the Yepers defensive rotation right now. Blitzen needs a lot of time to come back, forcing Hodge to stay back and not being able to get any offense going. Starscream looking for Blitzen in mid, but Blitzen decided to abandon the thought of offense after his pre-jump for just a little bit and stay back on defense.
Well, Hodge gets the clearance away. The rotation seems to have sorted itself out after the small entanglement that was caused by that pre-jump. 2 minutes gone, and wonder how many of those particular voices be asking for a particular feed to come onto the field here as Hodge back around. Not happening in Starstream. Once again, tipping it back around here. Both sides giving each other free bit of space here to work with. That should have been on target. That should have been at least an attempt to make the keeper save. And Hodge, once again, tipping that one around here. And frankly, the idea of possession, gone at this point.
And there's a lot of whiffs coming out, and what I've been noticing as well, whilst Yepers try to keep possession, right now their touches just aren't there. But 2 Simps 1 Furry is allowing a lot of space in field, and it's surprising that Yepers haven't seen that, haven't realized how much time and how much space they've gotten in field for those passing plays. Because, quite frankly, it's been always 1 on the backboard for 2 Simps 1 Furry and 2 on the goal line, but neither able to cover a pass. So that's definitely one improvement that Yepers can quite easily do as Hodge mega flick up the field towards Starscream, gets a double, looking for bits, and that's not well done. That's defended at the backboard again from Timo, and immediately transitioned into the orange half where Bertu looking for another attack, doesn't have the second flip reset. That could have been a wild play, but it didn't happen.
Low delivery waiting to come there. Once again, that phrase seems to be ringing truer and truer. Just not working out here as Blitzen back around here. This ball just being prolonged. Nobody really getting that one out with any urgency. Timo back around, double commit. Had to been saved, and Hodge gets it away. We've seen one double before. We will not see the second going in here. The double of the scoreline does not occur, and Hodge, bless him, he seems to be throwing himself at the ball desperately too now. He knows his team needs to get this one away, and they fail to do so with any conviction.
Yeah, ball's easily collected by 2 Simps 1 Furry, who could be seeming to tighten the noose and to tighten the knot around the neck of Yepers. They're trying to break them, and it's working right now, quite frankly, as Hodge finally a long clear from Yepers to go into offense, but that's just not enough creativity. That's just poor from Hodge at this point. Needed to do better. Blitzen again keeping the pressure up, going for the boost steal as well, but those balls into the backboard are only gifting away possession. Scream now looking for maybe a musty flick, can't find a Blitzen. Starscream big whiff, but Bertu didn't notice it. Hodge also just throwing himself at the ball. I don't know what it is. It's carnage in the back line of Yepers right now.
30 seconds for that carnage to remain, of course, and Yepers will be facing against the championship point. That's going to be the cruel factor about it as well too, and after all the effort, all the energy being drained and dwindled, they've got to unfortunately harvest a bit more here and push it further through. Timo waiting in the middle, one fake, one delay, it was left perfect. Hodge sees his teammate, the fact they get demoed here, and Blitzen trying to help out here. It's almost soft touches here to keep this one out. Spills across, and Hodge, he's unfortunately ran to the wrong option, and 2 Simps, 1 Furry. Well, they're one step away.
They are now on match point, but I just don't know what Yepers are doing. They're after game 1, completely out of the loop. It's, again, just a win by 1 goal for 2 Simps, 1 Furry. The only multi-goal win that we've seen came from Yepers in that game 1. So they're probably feeling a bit disappointed right now, that because they know they could do better and they know that they have done better, but something switched within the heads of 2 Simps, 1 Furry. Maybe they blocked out the nerves, maybe they aren't as nervous anymore, but something switched in their heads, and right now they're just looking very, very solid and really, really tough to go against.
Something switched off in the form of Yepers. They'll need to find a way to turn this game around, because frankly, we haven't seen enough from them, and without being disrespectful to the other two, without Hodge on the pitch, I don't think this final would be continuing. I think this should have been a 4-0 series blowout, which we didn't want to see, but it could be settled out here, and frankly, Yepers, for the neutral sake, show us what you've got, because this has been, I know the Twitter account said symbolic, usually being the phrase being around. I'm going to go stronger. It's been a pathetic performance by them in the grand finale.
Pretty much abysmal performance from them, but they still have time. Their backs are against the wall, but maybe that wall, which their backs are against, will give them the necessary back support to come out swinging. At least that's what we all hope for the remainder of the series, to at least make it a good contest and not have that clear scoreline. Hodge now with the shot. Starscream, he's open. He must have it. And he places it right at the keeper. Bertu wasn't even bumped in the net, but he still was just in mid, and Starscream, perfect snipe. But unfortunately, that's not what you want in that situation.
How much does it take to score? How much frustration must be building? How much are they willing to push themselves over the line, because that shot's gone high, and this one by Blitzen once again, shot right at the keeper. You could probably see grimace on their face if we had cams on for them, as Hodge's shot blocked once again. There's been near enough 4 consecutive shots here Yepers have had. Not one of them has went in yet. Not one of them looks likely to stop this championship side to win here, as Hodge runs back. He has to defend now.
Hodge does so again with a great touch out of defense. Scream taking over, looks for Timo on the infield. No, fakes the pass, actually brilliant. Timo can't get to Bertu with the cleanup. What a fake though from Scream to build that entire play. Just completely bamboozled Yepers.
Especially with the hold on to the keeper there, it just feels like Scream there is becoming a professional bodyguard. Just fencing off the line and make sure that one went in. That could be the goal that secures them. Wins it outright, of course. Timo would like to put the second in. Won't with that shot, obviously. Goes wide and Blitzen. He's just trying to find the gap, and Toys right around here. We talked about in game 2, spicy with that mark, the word creativity. Trying to tap it from the wall like it was almost like a bowling alley with its safety reel still on isn't the answer.
That's not creative in the slides. That's quite the opposite. It's very standard to just bang in the wall and hope. I expect better from these teams at this caliber, as Blitzen and Starscream once again connecting in the air. There's a whiff coming out from Bertu. It will be consequence-less, as he's able to also disrupt Hodge a bit, but Hodge still has the second touch. Scream has to go to it, does so from the backboard and gets control. Blitzen is still there though, trying to create some pressure, but it's to no avail because he's not being He's not being protected by his teammates. He's not being held by his teammates right now. He's just alone in the half, trying to create something where there's no support for him.
Just a bit of creativity with the passing players there this time around by Yippers. Unfortunately, they're back in defence once round. Back wall. Blitzen gets a pass here. Hodge, strong 50. No demo, no bump. But Blitzen might have just found a gap here if they can get some kind of pressure point and force it onto it. As this ball back again, propped into the corner here. We talk about the lack of creativity. We talk about the lack of near enough anything that Yippers seem to be doing. Right now, they might just be done and dusted.
And that might seal the deal. What a whiff from Starscream. I cannot believe it. He had so much time. Where was the call for the time? Where was the hit from Starscream in the first place? Teemo just slots that one home, easy as you like, and you have to wonder if Yippers have them if they have the mentality to come back, because they've had such a strong start to this game where they've just had so many good chances, so many good scoring opportunities, but they just couldn't make it work. They just always shot it right at the goalkeeper, and the defense holding strong for two Simps, one Furry to allow them that 2-goal lead. And it has been said before, offense wins you games, but defense wins your championship, and there's no better example than this game number 5 for two Simps, one Furry.
Statement, as probably been said on numerous broadcasts, for that obvious reason. In 70-odd seconds, and we could see easily the 3rd, 4th, and maybe 5th goal if they really want to, and yet Yippers were asking for 1 goal. That doesn't seem likely, as this ball just been moved around, and the unlikely does unfold. 64 seconds for Yippers to hold on to their grand finale, and the hopes and dreams to win it for their case.
But as well, you have to say, big help here coming out from Scream, who just cut into that ball. Didn't want to allow Starscream the pinch mid, but by that just giving the perfect setup for Hodge, better than his teammate could have ever done. And so right now, there is still hope for Yippers and any Yippers supporters, especially one man faded. He might be looking at this one thinking, yes, boys, you can come back, but it's still looking very much unlikely. Great demo from Scream, opening up the net. Is that it? Yes, that's in. Baichu will not miss the open net, and that's the 3rd. And surely, with that, this grand final is all but over.
If you were somewhat toxic, you might say GG's easy and move on. They've made it look so easy, this grand finale, in 5 games worth of gameplay. Yes, it has been 1 goal margins, as we mentioned, going into this last and seemed to be penultimate game. But they have done it with such class and almost grace at times here. It's Blitzen cannot tap that one in. That needed to go. It has not. And sadly, Yippers might be the one to go out. And right now, well, a deserved champions we've seen on our screens.
Yeah, just two Simps, one Furry. I mean, we said they are unbeaten. They are still unbeaten as of this moment. They haven't, I think they've dropped 6 games over the entire series. No team coming even close to what the Spaniards could deliver. And I think at the end we have very, very deserving champions. If you lose only 6 games in your entire season, you've won, and you won in a dominating fashion.
It's such a thrill when you're in that situation, winning in that style, that comfort, and knowing when you maybe have that next division or next level up in terms of competition, you might have a chance to do some damage with there. Yippers, we talked about Hodge being the star player as well. I think Teemo, credit to him, hasn't got, we talked about him being the sort of the MVP player. If you look at statistics wise, probably not being showed on the numbers level either, but I think there's only one number they'll care about, which is that championship win to their title, and frankly, probably the most comfortable win I've seen in Slipstream in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much used to seeing Game 6s at least, Game 7s most of the times as well, going to Champions Field in these series, but it just hasn't happened here. And after Game 1, it looked like, okay, this might be a whitewash, but in the complete other way around, and two Simps and Furry just came back and just dominated from then on out. And you said Teemo just being not on the number side, but definitely being that solid third, like the N'Golo Kante, just the player that keeps the motor running. And if you lose him, if you switch him out, you will know what you're missing. And I think Timo is that sort of player. It's incredibly important for the chemistry of the team, for the rotation to just click.
Well, with that said as well, and champions crowned already, but what is missing is one division to be completed, and that is, of course, Vortex as well too. And looking at that particular lineup that's on our screens for that particular grand finale, I would ask you a prediction because you'll be running away shortly.
Yeah, I will be leaving you not alone, but I will leaving you in the good company of Dennis. But for that, I'd say Little Women's. I mean, they are the defending champions, and they are in the grand final for a reason again. Creamy, Painy, and Rexo, just incredibly strong roster coming from Scandinavia against, again, what is a Dach team coming again. Not last time it was Mercury Esports. They've swept them away 4-0 last season. This time it's TT Willhaben, which I expect will do a lot better than Mercury. I expect a closer match, but we've seen this one already in the winners final, and their Little Women's won 4-1, so it's difficult to go against them. But I would give TT Willhaben the benefit and say they will drag it to Game 7, but I think at the end, Little Women's will be becoming 2 times Vortex champions.
2 times champions, that's the potential on our screens as well. We would like to see you there after, of course, this short break.